Welcome to Oyotunji, Yoruba African Kingdom. Pardon our work as we are always building or remodeling. This building was the village community center. The structure was raised by fire a few years ago. This is a new priestess paying respect to her senior priests. This is the marketplace. Everything from African clothing to food items and spiritual services can be purchased here. The market is the cornerstone of every African community. In 1970, King Adefumi traveled from New York to South Carolina to establish the Great Kingdom. They were known as the Yoruba of Harlem. Practicing African culture and donning African garments, and even went so far as to practice African religion in America. This is the town drum. It is the kingdom's form of wireless communication. Over a vast area, it carries messages. Over 100 messages can be played, alerting kingdom residents. The kingdom's central feature is the king's Oshagiyan royal palace. The statues holding up the veranda represents the king's wives, the embodiment of grace and fertility. They are the ones who uphold the kingdom. The royal ancestor shrine houses the king's ancestors. The Obatala shrine houses the patron deity of Oyotunji Kingdom. His aspects are patience and creativity. The state flag of Oyotunji has red, yellow, and green bars emblazoned with a black Egyptian ankh. The Oya Temple is where the villagers worship the deity of the winds and the mother of change and death. She manifests her greatest attributes in the form of a gentle breeze, a raging tornado, or a super typhoon. She is the mother of the marketplace, called life. Since the founding of Oyotunji, thousands and thousands of descendants of West Africa have begun their journey back to their roots. The Grand Temple of Olokun, the deity of the ocean and seas. Olokun inhabits the ocean and is the mysterious deity of the lagoon. She is the bearer of wealth, daughters, and the protector of the African race. The Holy Temple of Yemonja is home to the Women's Society of Oyotunji Kingdom. Yemonja is the protector of the female ethos, protector of pregnant women, and mother of the Orisha deities. The rites of passage for a young girl's transition into adulthood takes place at the Yemonja Temple. Yemonja is linked to amniotic fluid. This fluid is the liquid of protection. Yemonja is the patron of the Gelede, primordial mothers, who protect communities. The compound of the Alakpini the head of all ancestral societies. Temple Row Road. Grand heads of Olokun decorated in royal Benin coral crowns dot Temple Row Road. They represent the majesty and mysteries of Olokun, deity of the ocean and seas. The historic temple of Oshun. Oshun, goddess of the river, culture, and marriage. She is the brass goddess who embodies beauty. The ancestor temple houses the spirits of the deceased priests. Oshun is the mother of art. The venerated temple of Ogun, deity of iron, war, and authority. Blacksmiths, police officers, soldiers, surgeons, and builders are all aspects of Ogun. Oshosi is the hunter brother deity, represented by the bow and arrow. He is the deity of strategy. The men's rites of passage takes place here yearly. Young men travel from all over the United States to become men at Ogun Temple. During monthly festivals, drummers, singers, and crowds parade through the streets on Temple Row Road. The melodic chants and revelry can be heard for miles as the Orisha Voodoo priests worship their deities. The village temples and shrines were constructed by Voodoo priests and funded by the Voodoo economy. The kingdom's economy comprises of tourism, spiritual consultation, and retail. The system of government is a monarchical rule, where the king has the executive power and his chiefs have the administrative and legislative duties. The guest house to the right have been turned into houses since the pandemic began. The kingdom prides itself for being able to house its people. Oyotunji Kingdom is the river from which the nutrients of the Yoruba cultural movement flowed. Stretching to all parts of North America and the Caribbean islands. And speaking of rivers, what will drive an urban people so deep in the Gullah swamplands? Traversing uncharted, alligator-infested terrain. What great pool of ancestors put out the call to the children of Africa? The African pioneers did not know, but they set out, undaunted. They marched, boldly straddling the lines between what was comfortable and what was necessary. They settled down. They consulted the oracle and built their kingdom where they stood and spread Yoruba culture throughout the diaspora. Their one mission was to rebirth African culture and pay their respects to the motherland.